On this Wednesday night. And so it begins. The long lines, bare shelves, and head-scratching questions of day one of pot legalization.
How did you choose your selection?
I went for one of everything.
But what happens now?
Their daughters were killed by Paul Bernardo, and they came to his parole hearing to try to make sure he stayed behind bars.
He is a psychopath.
His bid for parole was such a long shot, some are asking, what's the point?
And in-depth fake news and the U.S. midterms.
It's so easy to hit that share button, but really we all need to slow down.
Think the problems of the 2016 election are fixed? Think again. This is The National.
After years of study, fierce debate, and a relentless campaign of public persuasion, Canadians are now free to enjoy legal cannabis from coast to coast to coast, but not, of course, without some strict conditions. So tonight, we will look at legalization from several fronts, including how it went across the country. We'll talk to people about what worked logistically and what didn't. We'll explore how this affects communities, those connected to the pot trade and those that want nothing to do with it. So let's begin our coverage tonight with Susan Ormiston, who spent the day taking in this massive cultural shift.
Happy legalization, everybody.
You're a star now.
A star was born. Where's Lady Gaga?
It took 95 years to launch this breakfast party, Wake and Bake, to dump criminality for legal weed.
Ooh, that's strong.
Yeah, this is my homegrown Canatonic Blackberry.
Jonathan Hirsch has smoked medicinal and other pot for 17 years. Now anyone of age can.
It's an opportunity to get people off opioids. It's an opportunity to get people onto something positive, off of alcohol. It's a super great opportunity for Canada, really.
Peter Tosh's Weed Anthem, Legalize It, came out back in 1975. And today, over 40 years later, Canadians bought their first legal gram of pot at midnight in St. John's. In Montreal, long lineups all day. The first in line?
It's a big moment for a stoner like me.
By afternoon, stocks had run out in a few parts of the country, and by afternoon, some Newfoundland stores had sold out. In Ontario, the online store ran 100 transactions a minute initially. A few strains sold out, and at the U.S. border, well, some questions.
They just asked if we had any marijuana or any cannabis, and we said no.
A cultural revolution just beginning, starting at the back of this coffee shop.
It's a celebration of tolerance in Canada, and that there is a third way. The money that I spend will go to legitimate operations and not fund organized crime.
The government has staked its success on shutting down the illegal market, but pot habits die hard. Dave Eakins has made glass pipes and bongs quietly for years.
Have you been a smoker as well in the past?
Yeah, sorry, Mom.
But where did you get your weed today?
I just got it from a friend.
Are you going to migrate to the legal buying?
You know, I haven't really put much thought into it.
Dispensaries are still strictly illegal.
Is this open? No? Is it closed for good, or are you telling them to go somewhere else?
No, I'm telling them they're closed.
They're closed.
Not exactly. Later, she gave our colleague a card sending her to this dispensary, which she was told will reopen tomorrow. So, after today's pot-infused euphoria and parties, will legalizing cannabis do what it promised to? That's the test.
Oh, great. So, Adrian, tonight I'm at a big pot party in Toronto, sponsored by the Cannabis Society and one of the new legal producers. The CEO told me it was a big day, bigger than he expected. A third of his product alone already sold out across the country.
So, Susan, you touched on something earlier I just want to explore briefly, and that's sort of the stigma that comes with smoking pot. Has today changed how people deal with that at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at this room, over 600 people of middle-class professionals, you know, over a dozen pot executives here in this room. For them, they've stepped out of the shadows. They're not afraid now to say, we like weed. For others, though, the stigma still exists. They're worried about leaving their information online, telling the government that they used to use weed or want to use it in the future. And that may take a long time to go away, Adrian.
Okay, thanks, Susan. Or Susan Ormiston at a legalization party in Toronto tonight.
Wow, that was loud. The federal government also had another cannabis announcement today, though. It's making it easier for otherwise law-abiding citizens to get pardons on past pot convictions.
Individuals who previously acquired criminal records for simple possession of cannabis should be allowed to shed the burden and the stigma of that record.
A simple pot possession conviction means no more than 30 grams, and you have to be finished serving your sentence to apply. Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale says new legislation will eliminate the current 5 to 10-year waiting period and waive the usual $631 fee.
This will eliminate what are disproportionate consequences and break down barriers, which could mean greater access to job opportunities, an education, housing, and even the ability to simply volunteer for a charity in your local community.
A pardon does not guarantee, however, that you'll be allowed entry into the U.S. because the conviction isn't erased, just forgiven. Goodale says the legislation could be tabled before year's end. And while some are applauding the move to ease up on minor pot convictions, others are criticizing the government for not going further. The CBC's Catherine Cullen dives into that debate.
You interact with police, you get treated as a criminal.
Kanai Malali says police charged him with cannabis possession 3 times. He says even though there are no convictions on his record, the charges are enough to cause him grief.
Just, having to wonder if that's the reason that you're getting pulled over right now, if this is the reason that you're getting searched, if this is the reason that you're not being accepted to a job, if this is the reason that you're getting turned back from the border, because all of those things have happened more than once.
Stigma is part of the reason the government says it's putting forward a plan for pardons.
Because there is a disproportionate representation of young people from minorities or racialized communities who are saddled with criminal convictions for simple possession. This is going to make a real difference to people who've been unfairly impacted by the previous regime.
But some say a pardon isn't enough.
Pardoning is not going to help people out the way that people need to be helped out.
The NDP and others are calling for expungement, basically a blanket erasing of simple possession charges.
An expungement would easily facilitate for those people the ability to get meaningful employment, versus pardons are quite a lengthy process.
The government disagrees, saying its pardon process will be faster and that expungement is only for special cases like erasing the criminal records of LGBTQ Canadians who were once charged just for having same-sex relationships.
We have utilized the tool of expungement in cases where there is a profound historical injustice that needed to be corrected.
Pot legalization, says Goodale, is just about a change in social attitudes. Malali calls pardons a good first step.
Any of these people that have been affected by this, it's their name. Having innocence to your name is an important thing in this world. It doesn't matter what it is.
But he says erasing everyone's record would give greater peace of mind. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
So how many Canadians actually have a criminal record for simple pot possession? Well, the number 500,000 has actually been used previously, and we did try to get an updated number today, but even the government can't say for sure how many people have that record of simple possession due to the way records are kept across courtrooms. The government does believe, though, it to be in the tens of thousands.
It's a dangerous substance, and I don't think our country needs it.
People my age remember Cheech and Chong and how bored and unmotivated they were at 2% THC. Now it's 15.
I think it's a sad day. I can't see this as a day where I'm rejoicing smoking a joint. I think it's a sad day for youth.
So not everyone celebrating this first day of legalization. It was a small but vocal group of protesters gathered outside Bill Blair's constituency office in Toronto's East End. And their message, legalization is a mistake. They aren't alone, though. There are many Canadians who still have questions about whether this move will do more harm than good. And Minister Blair joins me now here in Ottawa to talk more about that. So what do you say to them today about why you believe it is the right decision?
Well, I understand when people are worried about their children, I'm worried about their kids too. And I'm worried about the fact that in Canada, we have the highest rates of marijuana use among our kids of any country in the world. I'm worried about the fact that the marijuana our kids are using, they're buying from criminals. You know, it's untested, unregulated, unsafe. The kids don't know its potency and purity. And the people they're buying this drug from, they're only motivated by profit.
There are minors out there that are still going to find a way to get their hands on marijuana and consume it. So what to you then is a reasonable timeline to start seeing those kids get pulled out of that black market and for the black market to sort of dissipate?
Well, I'll tell you, the right time to start is right away, and we started today. And in addition to now giving the police and parents far more effective tools to help those kids make safer, healthier, and more responsible choices, yes, we also have empowered, the police still have all the tools and legal authorities they previously possessed to deal with illicit production and distribution. We haven't taken any of those authorities away. The penalties are still in place and they can still enforce the criminal law.
And I understand that, Minister, and I understand that, and I understand you're trying to do this starting today, but that wasn't the question. The question was, when should Canadians who are concerned about their kids, and you say that's what's motivating you, when should they expect to see a change on that front so that it is no longer available to them? Years, well, months? What are we talking about?
Clearly it's not going to happen overnight. Organized crime has had 100% of this market for decades, and they're not just going to go quietly into the night. But at the same time, we now have the tools and competition in the marketplace to drive them out. And we've got a comprehensive system of regulation. It's going to do a far better job of restricting the access that kids have to this. And so, you know, clearly we are attempting to significantly reduce the amount of cannabis smoked by our kids and the age at which they use it. You know, we've had a lot of success, quite frankly, with a strict regulatory approach with tobacco. We have not had the same success with cannabis. About 11% of Canadian adults use tobacco, and about 30% of Canadian adults use cannabis. And so we've got a lot of work to do, but we've got a model that works that we're going to apply in these circumstances.
Okay, Minister Blair, thank you for your time tonight. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Rosie.
Stay with us for more coverage of legalization day one, including how the rollout is going across the country and what people are saying about it.
An emotional day in an Ontario courtroom where one of Canada's most notorious criminals was seeking parole. This coming 2.5 decades after the world learned about Paul Bernardo's horrific murders and sexual assaults. It's the latest painful chapter in one of Canada's most disturbing series of crimes committed by Bernardo and his wife, Carla Homolka. 2 teenage girls kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and murdered. 14 women raped. And for many, the trauma of that violence was felt once again today. Our Ron Charles was watching the hearing.
Paul Bernardo spent more than 2 hours explaining why he should be released from this maximum security prison into the community. One of Canada's most infamous criminals told the Parole Board panel that he would never reoffend. He said, "It devastates me what I did in the past. I cry all the time. What I did was dreadful." Bernardo blamed the crimes on low self-esteem. The lawyer for the families of the victims took issue with that.
When someone like Paul Bernardo talks about, well, what my trigger is low self-esteem. I mean, just take that by itself. In light of his history, there isn't an expert in the world of psychiatry and psychology that wouldn't tell you that his explanations were proof positive that he represented a very serious threat to public safety.
The mothers of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French had to endure sitting just meters from Bernardo to give their impact statements. Donna French said, "For those who say time heals, I say there is nothing further from the truth when the wound affects the entire core of a family." Both mothers had the same message that Bernardo needs to spend the rest of his life in jail. One of the women he sexually assaulted as a Scarborough rapist was there too. She says the attack left her a shell of her former self. Bernardo had nothing to say to any of them.
There's never been an apology by Paul Bernardo. There's been never any indication whatsoever of remorse. And other than, I think some self-pity that we saw today.
Now that Bernardo's life sentence has passed the 25-year mark, the Parole Board is required to review his incarceration every 2 years. The parole board members did reaffirm the appropriateness of Bernardo having been declared a dangerous offender, and so there's no set date for the end of his sentence, meaning he could very well take his last breath at this prison. Ron Charles, CBC News, Bath, Ontario.
As you heard in their victim impact statements, the mothers of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French described the parole process as gut-wrenching. Here's how Debbie Mahaffey put it. Preparing this statement has not been cathartic. It is not healing. It is invasive to re-examine the past years of harm and heartache that we have experienced and worked so hard to accept. She adds, this parole hearing process rips apart all the healing we've worked so hard to achieve and replaces the beautiful, protected memories of Leslie's life with us with familiar terror and uncertainty. So is the current parole system unfair to families of victims? We're joined in studio by Toronto lawyer Joseph Newberger, an experienced criminal lawyer in Toronto. In fact, you have clients who have spent a long time in prison and then seeking parole. Why should somebody like Paul Bernardo even get a hearing like this?
Because it's very important for a democracy to have mechanisms for people, even convicted of heinous crimes, to be able to apply for parole and some form of release. It's that maxim, a society is judged by the way we treat our offenders, and it's extremely important that we have a rule of law that allows that type of access.
It was pretty clear to a lot of people, and certainly the board made it clear
Yes.
within a short period of time that they weren't going to give parole to Bernardo. You've actually written a textbook
Yes.
on offenders and how dangerous they are. Do you think he'll ever get parole?
No, his risk profile is off the charts. When you consider the multiple homicides, the manner in which they occurred, as well as the sexual assault cases in which he pled guilty and was convicted of, his profile is so off the charts that there is virtually no way that I could imagine he could be managed in the community safely. And so the parole board will be very cognizant of that going forward. This is an individual who will be behind bars for the rest of his life.
And yet he's going to get another hearing if he wants one.
He will, and that's appropriate, and it's challenging to the victims and their families, but it's appropriate in a democratic society like ours. I think it's very good.
And what do you say to the families who have talked about how wrenching this whole process has been?
Well, it's challenging, and everybody feels their pain, but they also have to understand that the system will work, and it will work appropriately. Especially in this case, we've seen that the parole was denied, but we as a society, it's important to maintain the principles of a democracy and the rule of law and the ability for people to access parole if it is justified in some circumstances. So we feel their pain, but it's necessary for the greater good, in my opinion.
All right, Joseph Newberger, really nice having your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Some other stories we're following tonight on The National, including a mass school shooting in Crimea, which is unusual for Russia. At least 19 people, most of them teenagers, were killed. So it seems an 18-year-old student ran through a technical college, shooting in room after room, and he detonated an explosive filled with metal in the cafeteria. Another device was found in his bag. The gunman was described by schoolmates as an angry, isolated person. He then killed himself. There were many bodies, children's bodies, this woman is saying. Other witnesses described total panic as no one seemed to know what was happening at first. Initial reports wrongly suggested it was a natural gas explosion. Now, there have been attacks at schools in Russia over the past few years, but most of them have been knife attacks, in part because firearm laws are strict. And the man behind the deadly Quebec City mosque shooting will now be sentenced next year. Alexandre Bissonnette was supposed to have his sentence handed down later this month, but CBC News has learned that sentencing has been postponed. A new date will be chosen Friday. Bissonnette opened fire on a room full of men just after evening prayers in 2016. 6 people were killed, 19 others hurt. He pleaded guilty during his trial earlier this year.
Still ahead on The National, the U.S. is just weeks away now from the midterm elections. In tonight's Dispatch, Stephen D'Souza asks, are these elections safe from trolls and hackers?
Plus, Jamal Khashoggi's final op-ed written just before he disappeared. His rallying cry for a free press in the Middle East.
And in our moment, well, a moment plenty of Canadians shared today, we follow some Haligonians as they buy up, roll up, and light up legally for the first time.
Feels really, really good. knowing that you're supporting a market that's legal and not illegal.
How did you choose your selection?
I went for one of everything. Literally, I got one of everything, so I'm pretty excited about it. And there's still more.
It's been 15 days since Saudi dissident and columnist Jamal Khashoggi mysteriously disappeared in Istanbul. And while there is plenty of speculation that he's been killed, tonight, hauntingly, the Washington Post is publishing more of his work. A column written likely just days before he disappeared, in which he calls for more free expression across the Arab world. Khashoggi writes, Arab governments have been given free rein to continue silencing the media at an increasing rate. These actions no longer carry the consequence of a backlash from the international community. Instead, these actions may trigger condemnation, quickly followed by silence. Now, the new op-ed isn't the only shocker. Chilling audio has reportedly surfaced of Khashoggi's alleged torture and assassination by a Saudi hit squad. The claim was made in the state-controlled Turkish media, which likely means the government wants that information out there. And as Ellen Morrow explains, that information comes as Donald Trump's top diplomat returns home from a whirlwind, supposedly fact-finding mission.
A new front in the investigation. Turkish police searching the residence of the Saudi consul in Istanbul. Jamal Khashoggi entered the nearby consulate itself more than 2 weeks ago, never to be seen again. And now a Turkish newspaper claims there's grim audio of Khashoggi's killing, reportedly revealing that the journalist was beaten and his fingers cut off before he was decapitated and dismembered.
We have asked for it. If it exists, we have asked for it.
But after days of highlighting their denials, President Trump is still holding back on blaming the Saudis.
They're an important ally, but I want to find out what happened, where is the fault, and we will probably know that by the end of the week. But Mike Pompeo's coming back. We're going to have a long talk.
As difficult questions swirl over Saudi involvement, Pompeo, Secretary of State, was all smiles yesterday with Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman. MBS, as he's known, has been accused of ordering the killing. Today, Pompeo met with Turkish officials and, like his boss, highlighted the importance of the Saudi relationship.
We have many overlapping interest places we work together, places where Saudi Arabia and the United States are trying to achieve important things around the world.
But Trump's fellow Republicans want the administration to be tougher.
I have lots of confidence in the U.S. intelligence community, and I think that they're building information that's very useful for the president to understand, and I hope he's listening to all that information, not just the arguments that are coming from Saudi officials.
Meanwhile, the investigation continues as real answers remain elusive, and Khashoggi's loved ones wait to know for sure what happened to him. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
Next on The National, bye-bye Birdie. The man behind the towering yellow Muppet is leaving Sesame Street. We bid farewell to the puppeteer behind your favorite Big Bird, in case you missed it.
Hopefully Big Bird's not going anywhere. Plus, trolls, bots, and Russian hackers, hallmarks of the 2016 presidential election. And guess what? They're back just in time for the midterms.
The Russians, other actors have refined their game. They've updated their playbook. And this time, it will be much more of a micro-targeting effort. They're going to look at specific districts.
Despite all the talk about fake news, all of the hearings and investigations on how to stop it, and all of the promises made by social media companies to crack down, the problem persists. In fact, a new report by the Knight Foundation found more than 80% of Twitter accounts that spread misinformation during the 2016 U.S. election campaign are still active. So active, in fact, that they're still tweeting more than 1 million times a day. And with the U.S. midterms now just 3 weeks away, Facebook and Twitter are ramping up their fight against foreign influence and misinformation. But will it be enough? The CBC's Stephen D'Souza shines a light on what's real and what's bought in tonight's Dispatch from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Aaron Gallagher is a hunter of sorts. From a laptop in northeast Pennsylvania, the freelance graphic designer spends her free time sifting through social media. She's looking for nefarious activity, analyzing the chatter to try and figure out who's really shouting.
I see my own family and friends struggling with what to believe.
Her main targets are bots. They're automated accounts controlled by people or sometimes operating independently. On their own, bots aren't bad. It comes down to how they're used. Take the story of Kate Steinle. The 32-year-old was shot on a pier in San Francisco in 2015. An undocumented immigrant was charged in her murder, and her name became a flashpoint for border and immigration protests, passions that only inflamed when the alleged shooter was acquitted.
So right here I can see there's something unusual happening.
But while the passion and anger was obvious in the online conversation, Gallagher saw more. She pulled thousands of tweets together, then ran them through sophisticated graphic software. She created a visualization of the social media conversation. What emerges is this, a complex multicolored web. Here's what a normal conversation on Twitter looks like around the Me Too movement. Now compare that to what happened around the Kate Steinle hashtag. Outside influences pulling the conversation in different directions. As she filters out regular traffic, she starts to see thicker lines, showing accounts spouting a massive amount of messages, often amplifying and exaggerating parts of the debate.
This is an account that frequently amplifies anti-immigration hashtags, anti-Muslim hashtags. When you can see that there are accounts that are tweeting more than humanly possible, then that is a good indication that the conversation is not entirely organic.
Hijacking regular debate online was page 1 of Russia's playbook in the 2016 election campaign. Their operatives created hundreds of Facebook pages, seen by 126 million Americans. On Twitter, 50,000 Russian-linked bots tweeted about the election. Their goal, inflame and exaggerate, turning conversation into confrontation. In some cases, the manipulation leapt off the screen and onto the street. Take these dueling rallies in Houston in 2016 in front of an Islamic center. Neither group knew at the time that the Russians organized both protests.
The extremes are much, much louder than the middle of the map.
Camille Francois is a cybersecurity researcher and analyst who tracks political and foreign manipulation on social media.
The end goal of those foreign interference campaigns is to divide voters and to create mistrust in the system.
She says the 2016 election was a wake-up call for America, a realization that what's happening around the world was happening here.
We're identifying and challenging 8 to 10 million suspicious accounts every week.
Social media companies have since been put under the microscope, called to account for what happened and how they'll stop fake accounts and bots ahead of the upcoming midterm elections.
We are more determined than our opponents, and we will keep fighting.
This is just an ongoing battle, isn't it?
Cat and mouse. It's going to be cat and mouse for a little while, yeah.
But Francois says we're still a long way from stopping the manipulation.
So there's good and bad. The good is that platforms have gotten much better at detecting these types of manipulation. The bad is that there's more and more actors that are using these types of manipulations.
At this security conference in Washington, experts from around the world are trying to figure out how to stay ahead of bots and fake news. Brett Brune was a communications specialist in Barack Obama's State Department.
The Russians, other actors have refined their game, they've updated their playbook, and this time it will be much more of a micro-targeting effort. They're going to look at specific districts.
He says the next step for the Russians is on the streets of America, funding unsuspecting third-party groups to sow discord. That, combined with tried-and-true tactics like dumping hacked emails to hijack the headlines before November's election.
I have little doubt that we are going to see an October surprise drop.
Camille Francois says while Russia is still a threat, the biggest challenge now is domestic campaigns. Back in July, Facebook shut down 32 accounts for what it called coordinated, inauthentic behavior. It couldn't tell who was behind the pages, but they used many of the same tactics that the Russians used. Then, last week, Facebook shut down more than 200 accounts and removed more than 500 pages, all for spreading homegrown disinformation, using multiple fake accounts to exaggerate issues across the political spectrum.
It's also like, I think, a moment where we're going to have to realize that this is our new normal, right? We live in an information space when there is manipulation. We need to not overreact to it either. We need to make sure we focus on the parts that matter.
Meanwhile, back in Pennsylvania, Erin Gallagher has some simple advice for those who don't spend all their free time hunting bots.
It's so easy to hit that share button, but really we all, I think, need to sort of slow down.
An important reminder from someone who sees every day the power of disinformation to change the course of conversations and elections. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Next on The National, Canada's first high driving ticket, today's surprising drop in pot stocks, and how Canada's newest cash crop is taxing the resources of one small Ontario community.
We have provided, as you can see, the hydro now. We've addressed that need. We've addressed the water need, and we have addressed the natural gas need.
But first, a beloved performer from one of television's most popular children's show is hanging up his felt and feathers, in case you missed it.
Oh, hello.
It is hard to overstate how big a deal Big Bird has been to generations of kids and their parents.
Allow myself to introduce me to you. My name is Big Bird, and I guess you can see why.
And maybe it seems counterintuitive that Sesame Street's most positive, optimistic personality and its grumpiest are played by the same puppeteer.
I'm a grouch by trade and nature.
But that says a lot about Carol Spinney's range and decades-long devotion to the characters.
I felt he was my child. I don't feel like I'm Big Bird. I feel I got to bring my child to life.
In fact, Spinney has been doing this for so long. When he started out, Oscar was orange, which would suggest there may be some radioactive sludge down there.
I look nice now. I don't believe Oscar, you did that. What's wrong with you? I don't believe you just did what I saw you did.
But as fun as Oscar was to play, it was the giant yellow canary that really took Spinney places. Big Bird went with Bob Hope to China in 1979.
This is the Great Wall of China.
He got his own movie, even a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. And now, after almost 50 years, Spinney is turning his creative yin and yang over to two longtime colleagues. But he says Sesame Street will always be in his heart.
He is my best friend. Oh, I hope he hasn't gone.
I think everybody has the right to smoke marijuana, medicinally or real.
Tonight on The National, there was a party on the steps of the BC legislature for day one of cannabis legalization. Just one pot shop has been given the official go-ahead to open today, so most legal sales have been made online. But by this afternoon, many products on the BC Cannabis Store website had sold out. This sold out sign also appeared in Yellowknife. One liquor store assuring customers they will have stock tomorrow, they promise. While pot sales may be up, that is not necessarily true of cannabis shares. By the time the Toronto Stock Exchange closed today, Canopy Growth had fallen more than 4% to just over $65. Aurora Cannabis down almost 3%, but at least one firm, Afria, had a pretty good day, up almost 4%. Analysts just can't seem to agree on an explanation for these mixed results. Some say the hype around legalization is dying down. Others say the market is taking a bit of a breather after its meteoric rise. And this did not take long. 1 hour after legalization, Winnipeg police issued a cannabis-related driving ticket. Around 1 a.m., officers served this notice to a driver for consuming pot in a car. That is a $672 fine. And it prompted police to tweet out a reminder saying, just like alcohol, consuming cannabis is legal, and like alcohol, consuming it in your vehicle is not. So day one of legal pot looked different across the country. Lots of long lines in front of stores in some cities, no lines at all in others. Maybe interest is low, or maybe people are buying on the net. So how interested are Canadians really? We checked in with 4 reporters across Canada, starting with Briar Stewart in Kamloops, BC.
If you're looking to pick up pot in BC today, this is the only store in the province where you can do it legally. It's called the Bc Cannabis Store and it's run by the government.
We got a quick tour of the store this morning while a crowd of about 100 stood in line until the doors opened and they could go in and make their first legal purchases. Now, it's worth noting that some of the very first people who were in line work for cannabis companies, so they were only too happy to show off the products they bought.
Yeah, lemon skunk.
But there were plenty of other customers, and reviews were mixed.
Now that I can purchase it legally, my money will go to the government instead of going somewhere else.
It was really expensive, and it's really unorganized in there. It's not going to meet the needs of British Columbians, and it's going to keep the black market driving.
It's ironic in a province with a plethora of pot shops that there's only one legal store open today. A few that were operating have closed up because they were worried about being shut down, but most are still selling, waiting to be licensed. In the future, there will be public and private stores, but right now, anyone who wants to do their shopping legally will have to stand in this queue or go online to a government-run website. But one province over, there's much more choice.
Here in Alberta, the private sector is handling the legalization of pot, and across the province at 17 stores, people got in long lines like this one, trying to be some of the first to score weed legally here in Alberta.
We're the second country in the world to legalize marijuana countrywide, so it felt, I'm a part of history in a way. It's not every day you can say that.
The liquor stores in Alberta were privatized decades ago, and this pot shop is actually part of a chain that includes both weed and alcohol retailers. Now, several Nova Cannabis stores opened in Alberta today, and the company's CEO hopes that is just the beginning.
There's 4 today that are opening, and we anticipate 32 more within a year.
Now, the key to that expansion, low prices aimed at taking market share from traditional illegal dealers. Well, very early days, but so far at least it seems to be working. The lines inside are still long and filled with satisfied customers.
Dozens of private stores like this one are also waiting to open their doors. They should get the green light for that by the end of the month. But some provincial governments across the country have opted to take full control instead.
I'm in Halifax, where they have been lined up down the street and around the corner. Now, here in Nova Scotia, the retail cannabis experience is a little bit unique. The government, which owns all of the stores, has this standalone store where people can buy cannabis. But most customers in this province will buy their marijuana in the same building where they buy their alcohol, albeit in an adjacent room. If anyone thought there was a stigma around being seen buying pot, well, that is apparently not expected to be an issue here. In a province where it turns out people apparently really like to smoke marijuana.
I went for one of everything.
Fact is, Nova Scotia has the highest rate of cannabis consumption of any province in Canada. 23% of residents have reported using cannabis in this province in the previous 3 months, according to Statistics Canada. Of course, that begs the question, how much pent-up demand will there be for cannabis here in this province? No one really knows that, but consider this. The Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation wanted to have about 300 products for sale today. It only has about a third of that.
We're working really hard. We're honestly doing our best to get as much product here as we can, as are the licensed producers. It's a process.
The armored trucks carrying cannabis have been unloading here over the last few days, but get this, NSLC's current supply is only expected to last them about 3 weeks.
Here in Regina, the supply put a bit of a damper on the day. If you were hoping to take part in the excitement of buying legal cannabis in one of the province's major centers, this is what you came across: locked doors. That's because some of the province's private retailers simply didn't have enough pot or weren't ready for day one. And those that did open are upping their prices.
It's supply and demand, right? And I think that it's just like any market. The market is the market, and when there's not a lot of product, the price goes up.
Too expensive. We'll wait, see if the price comes down.
It's just a matter of time before everything gets up and rolling and going.
That will be up to each retailer to decide once they think they have enough supply to meet demand.
So as you heard there are obviously some concerns about whether the supply for cannabis can meet the demand in this first year. So while this brand new industry does everything it can to ramp up production and try and get product on the shelves, Diane Buckner explains that it's putting tremendous pressure on the agricultural sector and the small towns that support it.
This is our corridor. We've basically fixated on saying this is where we want the greenhouse industry to locate.
Mayor John Patterson is driving up Highway 77 in Essex County, Ontario. Easy to see why this is called the greenhouse capital of Canada.
Greenhouse peppers and tomatoes, and they're developing into strawberries, eggplant, and a number of other products. So,
including cannabis.
Well, yes. So that's the newbie. Yeah.
The town has been struggling to keep up with how much water and electricity all these greenhouses need. Now suddenly, cannabis is adding to that demand.
We have provided, as you can see, the hydro now. We've addressed that need. We've addressed the water need, and we have addressed the natural gas need.
Now another $80 million is needed for a new sewer line.
Leamington's too small. We're going to need provincial and federal help on this.
Agriculture has grown gradually over decades around this town of 32,000 people. Now with the booming pot industry, suddenly the pressure is on.
Cleared. Putting up our phase 1 of a very large cannabis cultivation facility.
Just off Highway 77, this CEO is in a hurry to break ground on Leamington's newest cannabis greenhouse.
You really can't build, over 1 million square feet of warehouse in the amount of time that you need, but you can put up glass in greenhouses very quickly.
His new facility will open next year. And there are more coming. At this greenhouse convention, everyone is talking about pot.
There's a buzz. I mean, I think everybody's kind of looking at that opportunity in their, to maybe change their business and thinking, hey, is that something that I could get into and profit at?
So today I'm going to be talking about managing cannabis odor.
A seminar on how to keep the strong smell of cannabis from annoying neighbors draws a big crowd.
We are running this sewer line from our PCC plant all the way up.
And that means Mayor Patterson and his team need to keep lobbying the government to help Little Leamington pay for that $80 million sewer line.
Still keeping our fingers crossed the government will come and realize what a good investment this is going to be.
He believes the province will come around as soon as tax payments from the cannabis industry start to roll in. Diane Buckner, CBC News, Leamington.
It was a day full of firsts for many Canadians, many of which also happened to take place on camera, just like this one. So what's it like to light up legally for the first time? Don't ask me, but our colleague Jones followed that guy to find out. That's next in our moment. But first, a reminder about my favorite night of the week. At issue is tomorrow, and no, we will not be getting high, unlike what some of you suggested on Twitter, but we will be talking pot, pardons, and politics. Should the government have gone further? It's a whole new era, and our panelists have lots of opinions. That's tomorrow on The National.
As a homicide investigator, you're not very often delivering good news.
I have carried the scars of this case my whole life.
I will never forget. One of the hardest things I've had to do in 33 years on the job.
It's traumatic for anybody to come home to find a loved one is murdered.
We can't right the wrong. All we can do is find the truth. This is the most I've ever talked about it to anybody.
I will never, ever be the same.
On the next Anne with an E.
You received a letter today from Gilbert Blythe.
Oh, Trinidad. I wonder what he said.
Anne with an E. New episode Sunday at 7 on CBC.
So lots of talk about cannabis today, and for some Canadians, this was a deeply personal day as they tried to shed the stigma around pot. That meant lighting up legally for the first time. Our Colleen Jones was there for that moment in Halifax, and that is our moment.
Oh my gosh, look at this guy!
I got a few things.
You were laughing on the show.
Oh my God. How did you choose your selection?
I went for one of everything.
You've got a bag full of
dope here, so I assumed, wow, you're just going to be stoned all the
No,
time.
no. This is for like, I want to help people understand the importance of like knowing what you're doing before you get into it. Don't go flying blind. If you're gonna like get involved and you're gonna start to consume cannabis, I think it's really important that you at least have a conversation about it.
You're in law school.
Yes, I am.
So you're also planning a career in cannabis?
Yeah, from not from a commercial type of standpoint, more of a policy analysis, regulatory environment, academia perspective.
And what will that be? What will that include?
Well, I think it includes Canada just being a leader and looking across our country and analyzing the laws after they happen. So tracking, is youth legalization going up? Are people consuming certain products over others? And what does that mean for a public health perspective on the market?
Just tuck it in there, filter in first.
Break the stigma. This is,
Yeah, it's important.
Hooray!
I have to say, it is still weird for me to see people just doing it and buying it, and that will take some time for me to process, I guess.
Also, you know, I feel like this week is a bit like the Stanley Cup finals, where some people really, really, really care, and other people say, when's football season going to start?
So you know that tape that sometimes gets pulled out of the archives of Peter referring to is there's a new thing called internet. I have a feeling in 20 years' time someone's going to yank this and go, you know, look how cute they were talking about weed, you know, as if it's a big thing, which it's not. Anyway, that is the national for 10/17. Good night.
Good night.